All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So I do have the results for you guys of this Romania Muscle Fest Pro, which just happened today on Sunday. So the winner of this show ended up being Cedric McMillan. So the top three favorite guys that ended up being the top three at this show were Cedric in first, Juan Morel in second, and Regan Grimes in third. Now, when I heard that Regan was switching back to men's open bodybuilding from Classic Physique after a relatively disappointing placing at the Classic Physique Olympia, I thought that Regan would be top three, and that was my prediction for this show. When I heard that Cedric and Juan were both doing this show, it was hard for me to really imagine Regan beating both of those guys because Juan Morel, even though I think Regan is a little bit more aesthetic than Juan and has a little bit better build and structure and flow to his physique than Juan, I think Juan's conditioning is very dangerous. Juan himself is just a very dangerous bodybuilder. He's been doing very, very well at the past couple shows that he's done. So when I heard that Juan and Cedric were both going to be in this lineup, in addition to Regan, I thought that Regan was going to have a very hard time going up against guys like this, even though Regan in his own right is an extremely good bodybuilder. And going into this show, Regan was really the only guy that was very public about his prep for the Romania Pro. And maybe even like 2 or 3 months out, Regan started documenting his prep on YouTube and Instagram. So he was really one of the only guys that I knew was doing it at like the 2 to 3 month out mark. But then as we got closer and closer, and Cedric said he was doing it and Juan said he was doing it, I started to lose a little bit of hope for Regan in terms of winning this show and qualifying for the Olympia, on his first pro show back to men's open bodybuilding. So I think Regan actually did look fantastic here based on the photos and videos that I've seen. He looked to be in shape. He looked to have put some size back on, which is to be expected because he lost a lot of that size when he was switching over to Classic Physique. But I think the men's open version of the physique of Regan that we're seeing now is a little bit closer to what we like to see or where we like to see Regan's physique. I think, the weight constraints of Classic Physique were a little bit too tight for Regan. I think as a result, that kind of ruined his physique. And I think men's open is where he belongs. But he does have a little bit more classic lines and proportions for a men's open guy. So I think he looked good in this lineup. Again, I think Cedric, he did win the show. I think his conditioning was good. I don't think it was as good as it was a couple weeks ago, but his conditioning was good here. And Cedric actually posted a video in his hotel room prior to the prejudging of this Romania show to kind of prove that he was in shape. And I kind of like that Cedric does this because one of the criticisms of Cedric is that he kind of messes up his prep maybe at the last minute. And on stage, he doesn't look as good as maybe he looks in pictures or videos and some of the prep pictures that he puts up on social media. So I kind of like this little accountability thing that he does. He did this for his last show too, where he posted up a full posing video because he knew he was in shape prior to the show or like the day before the show. So I kind of like this little idea that he posts these little accountability videos saying, hey, it's a day before the show. I know I look good in my hotel room, so if I mess anything up between now and actually getting on stage, here's the proof that I actually was in shape the day before the show at least. So I kind of like that Cedric is doing that. I think Cedric was in shape, like I said, but just not as good a shape as he was at his last showing. I think Juan Morel looked good here too, but again, maybe not as good as he looked at that show in South Korea that he just did, that Monster Zim Pro, where he controversially took second to Nathan Diasha. So those were the results for men's open bodybuilding. Now, Wesley Vissers also competed at this show in the Classic Physique category, winning, in my opinion, relatively easily. Now, I think here we saw a much improved version of Wesley, especially if you look at the lower body. I think he had an extra, density and thickness to the lower body and a little bit more detail in the legs, which really, to me, seemed to stand out on stage. In the past, his legs have been like one of the most criticized body parts of his, probably because he's got a taller physique, longer legs. They just didn't really look as proportional to his upper body as some of the shorter guys. I think now he started to acknowledge and fix that problem, and I think that's why he won this show, even though I think the other guys weren't really on the same caliber as Wesley was. And I believe this was an Olympia qualifier, and that's what I wanted to point out in men's open as well. Cedric is already qualified for the 2020 Olympia, so by doing this show, he kind of crushed the dreams of Juan Morel and Regan Grimes, who still need to qualify for the 2020 Mr. Olympia. So Cedric just kind of did this to show that he's still got it and he can still win another show and he can nail his conditioning more than just once a year. So congrats to Cedric. I think it was a tremendous victory. Congrats to Wesley. I'm looking forward to seeing both those guys at the Olympia. And congrats to Regan as well for taking top three at his first Men's Open Pro show since returning to the Men's Open category. I'm sure we're still going to see Regan continue to compete and try to qualify for the 2020 Mr. Olympia. So that wraps it up for the video today, guys. Kind of a quick one. I am on vacation, but I still wanted to cover the Romania Pro that just wrapped up about 20 minutes ago now. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed already. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.